Okay, so it's a late morning, very late morning. I've literally just woke up because I've been trying to make YouTube videos. Oh my gosh, I've been watching my last YouTube videos. I really like them, and I want to start making videos every day, but unfortunately, it's not very private in my house anymore. I mean, right now, for some weirdly strange reason, maybe because it's like, I don't know, it's like food time for them. Everyone's out of the house getting food. Not everyone, but the people who are noisy are out of the house getting food. Otherwise, my brother, my little brother, he, like I've said in my videos before, my music one, the one where he plays music under my work desk, really loud. Anyway, long story short, someone actually commented saying I'm too hard on my family, and I brought someone over my house, someone who's been watching my YouTube videos. On the way to my house, they were like, "Oh, you're too hard on them. They're fine. I bet they're really nice. You love them. They're your family." I was like, I just didn't say anything, right? So you're gonna see, you're gonna see. 2 days, and she agreed with me. She couldn't stand it. I was like, I told you. But honestly, though, there is a part of me that does love them. But I need my own space. And the reason why I'm making this video is because that new space has opened up. Turns out my older brother, who is also a set twins, has gone to Kenya for 2 weeks. And his entire flat is empty. It's barren. He's gone with his girlfriend. They're both out of the flat, and has left my other brother the key. And he's coming later on in his Jeep to pick me up at 4:30. I'm going to spend 2 weeks over there making a stupid amount of content. Dang it. You do that when you lean, then at the end you just speed it up. It's like a race thing. Looks really cool for an intro, and then you put text on it. Okay guys, so I've made it. This is where I'll be spending 2 weeks. Brother's bedroom, bathroom, and the living room is here. Camera will go there. So last night I had an idea. I was in a creative flow. I figured out a way to just get out creativity out of my face hole, out of my mouth, right? And it's funny, I said face hole, and I remember the time I had a consultation with somebody and they all just burst out laughing. So I thought it'd be funny if I said it right now in this video. But so that's the point. My mind, it keeps going back to memories. It pulls from the past and it brings it into the present moment. A lot of people do this, and it got me thinking about karma. Every time something so-called bad happened to me, which really I always looked at as good because I always saw the positive of every bad situation, but everyone around me who was negative always seemed to be able to point out the negative attribute towards the thing that happened towards me within that present moment that they just witnessed, right? And it got me thinking. Everyone would say, "Oh, it's karma for you. It's karma for you." And I never quite realized what it was that they were saying until last night. I was talking to somebody on Facebook and they had said something to me. They said, "Have I got some sort of karma? Can you see my karma? Is everything around me, is my life the way it is, this nightmare? Because of a past life, a past existence? Is my life bad because I'm a bad person type of conversation. And I thought to myself, that doesn't sound correct, because what was going through my mind when she said that was, are people actually living under the notion that if by your definition, your own definition, everyone's definitions of bad are different, but if by your definition being bad means that you feel as if you're going to start attracting bad things because you've heard of the notion of karma, that bad people get what's coming to them, right? Then that in and of itself is creating a kind of magnetism that you're walking around thinking that you're bad, to the point where you're starting worrying, looking out for karma, watching where it's coming from. All of a sudden a bad thing happens and it actually gives energy, gives rise towards you observing and noticing the negatives of every situation. Even if the negative came at you for a positive reason, you're not quite aware or perceptive of seeing the positive attributes towards a negative situation. And then I thought, really? Can people really be thinking like this? And then I went through last night, I couldn't even sleep, I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning thinking about karma. And there are a million ways in which this video could have turned out. And each way would have been correct. There would have been correct things to say within this video, but that being said, from that person's perspective, if that was the only reason that they were collaborating, that they were giving energy towards that notion that they're a bad person, and that's the only reason why it is that they see bad situations within their outcomes, then really it means that they're judging themselves. They're automatically deeming themselves bad and a positive match towards any bad situation. Now imagine, if you will, if that was your consciousness, how do you think somebody who thinks that they're bad and who believes in that notion of karma, that bad people get bad things, how do you think that person's going to react within their day in and day out life? Do you think that possibly they could subconsciously start to want to put themselves in situations where they can only see the negative in that situation, thus reinforcing that belief system that they are a bad person, which is their own self-judgment of themselves? Even if people around them are saying that they're not a bad person. My ex was a kind-hearted woman. There was nothing wrong with her, not a bad bone in her body, and yet certain outcomes of her past where she was influenced in an unconscious manner by the surroundings and environment and people around her caused her to do or believe certain things about her, caused her to self-judge herself in a certain way to which she thought that she could be bad. And I was telling her all the time that she wasn't. I was pointing out all the positive attributes towards her makeup, her consciousness. But because she was only focusing on the negatives, she really did believe that there was a part of her that was bad. And because she had the self-accepted belief of karma, of her being a bad person, which she wasn't, I can tell you now, from a consciousness perspective, if karma was something the universe did to people on purpose, then karma, or the universe itself, would be a human, because only bad and positive perceptions of a situation can be created by a human mind, a human presumption of what it is that's going on in front of them in any given situation. Okay, so for example, a guy could slip over and fall and headbutt into a car window for some reason, right? Just trip over and headbutt a car window, and a woman inside it can be like, "Oh, are you okay?" Next thing you know, that guy has just met his future fiance. They could move in, have kids together, buy a house, probably start off in a flat first, not unless they make a lot of money and start manifesting it that way, and then they can just afford a house straight off the bat. But what I'm saying is, if that guy had a belief system where negative things only happen to him for the negative, and then he bumped his head, thought, "Oh no, it's my karma because I did this last week, or maybe I stole that biscuit, that last biscuit that was my brother's and he told me not to do it. Bad things are happening to me because I'm a bad person." If he was under that notion and then he started talking to the girl inside the car, he'd probably freak out and walk the other way because he doesn't see the opportunity lying in front of him. However, if he was an optimist, if he didn't believe in karma, that self-destructive belief system, then he could have probably opened his mouth. He didn't have that in the back of his mind, which is distracting him from seeing this potential opportunity. And then he could probably lean towards the more happy lifestyle that one would have being married or having kids or living with another person. right? So you can see how the belief system of hearing, everyone sees this more than they hear this. Whenever I would have something bad happen to me, someone would say, oh, it's karma for you, and they'll laugh. They would laugh. So those of you who are watching this, who have seen me, right, those of you that I would consider my friends, who have seen me have anything bad happen to me, and you've laughed at me and said, it's karma for you, and you started laughing. Why did you start laughing? What inside you thought it was okay to laugh at somebody in a bad situation? Did it make you feel better about yourself? Do you think that you're a bad person? These are just ideas I'm throwing out here, okay? Don't have to resonate with any of them. But are these things I'm saying striking a chord with you? Are they making you respond emotionally in an uncomfortable way? If so, then there needs to be something looked at within your psychology, within your way of being, your state of being. Okay, why is it that someone would laugh at somebody else having bad karma, which is really just you observing something that you think is going on based upon a belief? Okay, imagine that for a scenario. Someone gets hit by a car by accident. They're not completely knocked out, they're not down, they're not dead or anything like that, but they're limping after they get up, and they say, it's karma for you. That guy who got hit by the car was laughing. Obviously they were positive. And yet the negative person was like, that's karma for you, pointing the finger. And he's trying to make himself feel good, seeing somebody who's good look as if they're bad. Now, what part of that gives you a release? Does it make you feel comfortable knowing that you're not the only one who is bad? And if that is the case, then maybe your soul knows deep down that you're not actually a bad person, and you seeing other people who may look bad is giving you some sort of stability in knowing that you're actually fine. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a bad person. Let me tell you something. I'm used to operating from source consciousness, which means I've had people around me say that when I operate like that, I don't even act or behave human. I can tell you now, from a source state of perspective, it does not care about good or bad. It doesn't have that perception. It doesn't see the world in good or bad. It doesn't. People say, why did God do the nastiest things to the best people? Why is cancer here? Why, if God exists, then why are people dying and all this stuff, bad stuff's happening in the world? Let me tell you something. God isn't human. Source consciousness is not human. Period. It doesn't think and rationalize in 3D concepts. It doesn't think and rationalize in 3D ways of thinking. It is not human. And when it is human, when it is me or you having a human experience, it's unconscious of itself, which means you have to become unconscious to live this dream. So source consciousness quite literally doesn't care, and if it does care, then it's because it's unconscious and it's being operated through a vessel like this body, having a 3D unconscious experience where it's experiencing the duality of good and bad. And only there within the 3D experience can you even see that potential, that possibility of a negative and positive outcome. Until you transcend your consciousness towards this state of mind, source consciousness, you'll transcend duality completely. And that goes for race, that goes for situations, that goes for your outcomes. You'll start to see how your psychology may be geared towards you only leaning towards a certain negative. If you see a sign happen to you, maybe you want to speak to that girl, or you want to make that video, or you want to talk to a bunch of people on Skype, and your appliances, your electrical appliances just go haywire and turn off. And then you say, oh, it's a sign I shouldn't be doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Why would you only look at that as a sign as to not do it? Why can't you just find a way to say whatever it is you were going to say on camera, or to do whatever it was you was going to do on your phone, and do it with someone else, if that may be the case? If it is a sign that you're not supposed to share it at that time, why don't you just look for potential possibilities for you to share it in other ways? Maybe you're supposed to write a book. So now you're seeing a negative of something. Okay, let's look at the positives. Maybe I wasn't supposed to put it in a video. I'm gonna sit down and jot down notes and try to make it better. Maybe I don't have all the information. This actually is a positive attribute because now it's making me grow in a better way. So now we're balanced in the situation. But most people only lean towards the negatives and they completely bypass the positives. They don't even look towards that notion because they're under the belief that there is only one way of looking at any situation, which is another problem. A lot of people think that you can only do one thing once. They think that there is only one correct answer to something that could have 1,000 correct answers if you look at it 1,000 different ways. This is incredibly annoying because it puts you into a box and it completely cuts you off from learning anything new, period. Okay, so now I'm right now making a video on karma. And there's loads of ways of looking at karma. This one is when it comes to self-judgment, if you believe that you're a bad person and you don't quite understand the notion of karma. How a belief that you're bad, a self-judgment like that, could make you more susceptible to leaning towards the negatives of every situation. You're seeing the negatives in every situation and it's not allowing you to see the positive of that situation because you've got the belief in the situation that you're a negative person, and that's why you're attracting karma, because you're judging yourself, thinking that you're negative. So I put that in the video and I noticed something. I didn't put all of the information in there. I forgot to put what karma actually is, the cause and effect. And as soon as I thought that, the file on my computer all of a sudden decides to corrupt itself. The editing process just stops. And this is what it looks like. Okay, that right there. The image is fine, the image is fine, image is fine. And then all of a sudden, just green. Just green. And even now, startup disk is full and I've got loads of space on there. I delete everything, okay? There is a natural law to consciousness. In a dream, you attract people around you, or consciousness constructs that think that they are actually people around you inside the dream. You attract like-minded individuals. Same thing happens here. Now what you don't realize is when you accept a personality, whether it be an influence off of your friends or people around you, things you see on TV, there are certain outcomes that come with that personality. And your vessel, your body, holds that energy and reflects it outwards. Which means you're going to get all of the bad and all of the good with your mindsets. Okay, now other lifestyles out there have way more bad than good. And oftentimes people who are a bad person, who don't care about people, who are very, very just evil. If your mindset, if you're vibrating that low, you're going to attract people who are just like you. And if they're just like you, then they're going to do the exact same thing to you. So you're going to end up experiencing losses of people, maybe, if you end up getting really violent, or they end up getting violent towards you and your family. You'd end up losing money if you get stolen from. Your house will get broken into. And there's a certain pattern of events that happen when this sort of thing happens, right? I say this to my younger brother. I say, okay, have you or has your girlfriend cheated on you yet? He went quiet. I was like, what are we talking about? Have you already watched Friends? Have you watched the entire seasons of Family Guy? Have you eaten pizza or Chinese tonight before you're going to have sex because today is Saturday? You know, there are certain patterns of experiences that come with a certain mindset, okay? And it's often due to a certain age range, which is when you're most susceptible to accepting these mindsets, which then reflect out a certain reality. Your phone may get stolen, even in school. By accepting that you're going to school, you're accepting the experiences of school life. At some point, you're going to forget that your phone is in your pocket inside the locker room. Someone's going to come in and steal it. If it hasn't happened yet, I can tell you now, you've probably known someone who it's happened to already. Okay? This is karma. If anything, if karma was anything, this is it. It's the reflection of consciousness that leads you to a certain state of existence, a certain state of experiences when it comes to your state of being. Okay? How your state of being is putting you in these experiences. You can get good karma or bad karma. If you're a good person, that's going to reflect you're going to get good people around you that are going to have your back. I'm Ryan JC. This is going to be about Do It. I'll speak to you guys pretty soon.